What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley, and that's the one, the only Scott Savage. Scott, happy Monday, buddy. What's going on?
Oh, well, Zelda's been out for about a weekend now, and the Game of the Year conversation has heated up a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot going back and forth. I've seen scores range from 6s to all the way to like 9s and 10s. It just depends on what your flavor of Zelda looks to be.
Yeah, I am looking forward to another two-dimensional one eventually at some point, but we'll see.
It was Breath of the Wild that kind of took me into the Zelda world once more, where I was never really the old school Zelda. So it kind of, when they went new school, that's kind of when I jumped on.
I'm definitely more of a traditionalist, but getting into the new, the looks of the new one, I haven't played it myself yet. Seeing people's constructions, oh, it has me excited. I want to make a jet.
Yeah, so I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm still pretty early. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but it's an interesting start, dude. And here's my thing. At what point in 2023 is the reasoning behind Link still having no voice acting? Nothing, not a word, right? And I'm just like, man, come on. Nintendo's production levels are like at a whole other level, and yet they still don't do the voice acting thing for all of their characters. Dude, Zelda's got voice acting, and then you get into a little bit other parts of the game, and she doesn't. And then she does. And then weird. She doesn't. I'm like, everybody in this game at this point, dude, should have a voice actor behind them. It is mind-blowing to me that we're in this day and age of technology where we come off of things like God of War, things like Horizon Forbidden West, and all these others main games. Dude, Jedi Survivor, everybody has a voice. Like, I'm just
I'm wondering how Link would sound now, because he's not going to sound like the Duke Nukem or anything, but at the same time, he had a voice once upon a time. I just have to finish that thought up, because on the CDI it was awful, and now we choose not to acknowledge it. Excuse me, princess.
It's just, dude, just in today's day and age, like, the whole thing should be voice acted. You get into some of these main characters, like I say, Zelda talks, and then she doesn't, and then you're reading the text. I'm like, why? Why is that a thing? That shouldn't be a thing at all. And the fact that Link just sits there and just nods his head, I'm like, this drives me nuts, man.
But you know, he has a voice. He yells a lot.
Whoa, yeah, right? So let's put it, those yelling in maybe some words or something. I don't get it. But, dude, what people can get is us live every day, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern over on youtube.com/Inside the Game Official, as well as kick.com/Inside the Game. While you're on our YouTube channel, help us out by hitting that subscribe button. Definitely helps us go a long way when it comes to the internet. But if you can't join us when we're live, hit us up later, InsideTheGame.ca, and those TV streaming networks around the globe. Today, speaking of Nintendo, Scott, there's a potential that one of Nintendo's biggest titles could feature a spin-off title and possibly a movie, or maybe even a TV show. Bethesda is getting help with combat from one of the best studios in the business, and Disney is coming with their own Smash Bros. Brawler. Yo, I'm down for this. I'm anxious. I'm anxious.
A new challenger approaches.
We'll see. We'll see. Dude, in just less than an hour, my review of Humanity will be live, noon p.m. Eastern. Check it out over on InsideTheGame.ca, as well as YouTube.com/InsideTheGame. So make sure you check that out. That'll help us go a long way. While you're there, of course, hit that subscribe button once again. Now, Scott, let's get into today's show. There's a lot to talk about, because I want to talk about it. It's possible that Zelda may get her own adventure. Grant Taylor Hill over at Insider Gaming. Yeah, The Legend of Zelda has origins in the 1980s, and by today, it's a flagship franchise for Nintendo, effortlessly shifting millions of copies whenever a new game in the series is released. That's pretty easy to say.
Yes.
Yeah, it has spanned 12 consoles, from prehistoric handhelds to Nintendo's most up-to-date hardware, even though it's 7 years old. But until now, the character Zelda has never had her own moment in the limelight. But this could all change, according to the series producer EJ, who has worked on the Zelda franchise since the late 80s. He sat down with Vanity Fair to deliver an interview and uncovered some telling details about the potential of the future of The Legend of Zelda and how it may literally become The Legend of Zelda. Dude, in the interview, it said, quote, "We feel what makes the most priority in the game is the idea of gameplay. It turns out that the particular gameplay we're trying to bring to fruition would be best served by having Zelda take that role. Then it's possible that it could be a direction we could take. With that said, of course, because we are not sure what the next gameplay experience is going to be, we can't say what Zelda's next step is going to be." End quote. Scott, what are your thoughts?
Oh, that's pretty fair there. I like that it's gameplay focus. That's the lead, because you don't want to just kind of staple something in, shoehorn it in for who's going to enjoy that, really. So going gameplay led first makes a lot of sense. And it kind of reminds me of Spider-Man. Those stealth sections. It doesn't really make sense for you to be Spider-Man during that. And likewise, there might be moments in this game, or a game in the future rather, where Link's busy. He's doing something else.
What's he doing? He's talking to himself. Maybe that's when somebody actually hears his voice. Dude,
he's talking to himself. That's funny. The game without Link.
Yeah, it's dude, it's funny because I feel Zelda has more personality than Link does, and I'd love a spinoff to see where we can get with Zelda to continue on what her backstory is, maybe kind of get a different direction, a different look at how she kind of came into the role of Zelda we all know and love. There's a lot of opportunities here to branch off, but I found it interesting too how Nintendo goes gameplay first and then story afterwards, right? And so they come up with like the gameplay hook, and they're like, okay, we got something. Now let's write a story around this. Where a lot of other places, like if you talk to Naughty Dog, for example, do their story first, and then we get into the gameplay, which is always solid, by the way. So it's not like I'm ever worried about what they're going to do for the gameplay over there with Naughty Dog. But I just found how it's interesting how different studios take different directions. And Nintendo is gameplay, then story. And it's worked out well, Scott, with one of the most beloved characters and storylines forever when it comes to Zelda, right? So here we are.
Do you remember Hyrule Warriors? I believe it was #1 with Linkle.
No, I don't remember Linkle.
Linkle was, everybody freaked out on the internet, thought it was girl Link. Link became a girl now. But that wasn't the case. It was a unique character created for that game. But it got everybody's kind of wheels spinning. Well, what would a Zelda game look like? What could it be? Could she do any combat? And to that I say no. But
yeah. Well, you never know, dude. It's man, I don't know. We'll see. I'd love to see Zelda because, that's what I said. She's more personality and more believability behind her than where Link is, just this mute character. It doesn't say anything.
I wanted to get into the background lore behind Ganon. Why is it Ganon always, not Vati? There's a lot of bad guys that just kind of get thrown out of the limelight and you never see them again.
Yeah, dude. I just got my fuse power, so. I'm just learning that new ability now, and we're kind of moving forward. So I'm still pretty early, but
that's probably about 100-hour diversion right there.
Yeah, it's one of those I just pick up a little bit here or there because we are not reviewing the game. We didn't get codes. I purchased this, so I'm just kind of jumping in to have a good time, and we'll take it at our own pace. We have enough games to play and review as it is. So we'll focus
I'm
on
still
those.
trying to finish up Jedi Survivor, if we're
Well,
being honest.
yep, fair enough, right? Dude, I was happy to finish that before this came around. I'll be honest. So, yeah, dude, Zelda, I think get her own story would be fantastic. Her own game, her own experiences. But we'll see what kind of new gameplay they introduce to bring her to the limelight. Because I don't know, you think, can you have a Legend of Zelda game without Link?
Ooh, without him entirely is something that's hard for me to think of. But
Yeah.
I could think, by the third act, you come in and save him, and now he saves the day. I could see that happening, but I think he kind of has to be the hero of time.
Yeah, fair enough. Dude, I want to roll into topic number 2. As Zelda producer says he's for sure interested in a Zelda movie or TV show. Chris Scullion over at VGC. The producer of the Legend of Zelda series has been keen to see a Zelda movie or TV show in the future. In an interview with Polygon about a recently released Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, longtime series producer Ajay Scott, is that right?
I think it's IG Onuma.
All right. Was asked if the successor to the Super Mario Bros. Movie had him excited about the prospect of a Zelda adaptation. Quote, I have to say I am interested, end quote, for sure. But it's not just me being interested in something like this, makes things... Let me start this again. But it's not just me being interested in something that makes things happen, unfortunately. Dude, if it's anything like where we've kind of hit off with the Mario movie, the Last of Us TV show, doesn't this just kind of make sense? Are you expecting it? Is it live action, or are we going the animated way once again when it comes to the Mario side of things?
I think it would be best off to do an anime, but any idea of Zelda being brought to the live screen, the silver screen, scares me. It's because it's just one of those things that I hold so dearly. It's almost like you can't mess up Zelda. Please no.
Well, dude,
And I'm not certain if a movie would work out. Although you're right, there's a huge precedent now for really good video game adaptations.
Yeah.
Who ever would have seen that coming?
Well, they nailed Mario pretty well. Like I took my son and him and I went and saw it, and we had a great time. It was a blast to watch Mario on the big screen in a new way, and the story behind that and how it unfolded. Dude, it was Bowser's presence was cool. Like Jack Black was fantastic. Yeah, it was cool, dude. I had a good time at the movies, and it made an absolute ton of money.
Yeah, it certainly did.
So here's Nintendo's opportunity now to bring over Legend of Zelda and get that incorporated once again and make another staple, I think, stepping stone when it comes to that transmedia crossover between video games, TV, or a movie or a film in this case, right? Would you rather have a movie, Scott, though, or a TV show?
I think I would rather have a movie. Somewhat to limit the damage that could happen, just because I am fearful. Just like the CDI project, we can lock those away and they just don't happen.
Would just come out for an hour and a half instead of trying to carry it over like 8 episodes, right? And
I would much rather see a Metroid cross-media adaptation. I think that would do so much better, and there's such a ginormous universe, huge amounts of stories to tell that are not just kind of the same one over and over, which is what Zelda is, although I love it.
Yeah, it is one of those things, right? As much as we do love it, how much can you tell? But when you take a look at how The Last of Us is done with their own TV show, man, and I knew that entire story, right? Like I played 1, I played 2, and from start to finish, loved every part of those games, most parts anyways. And then as you get into the series, you're kind of, how are they going to do this? So it's enticing for fans who've already played the game, because it is a retelling more or less of the beginning of The Last of Us. And then how do you do it for those who have never experienced it? I think that's a little bit easier. Watching my wife actually experience The Last of Us through the TV show from the first one, because she didn't see the first one. She watched me play the second one. And dude, like there's moments, like I was like, wow, holy, they were able to nail so many moments in that and do it right and still surprise the fans who have played the series.
Oh, and Pedro Pascal nails it, as far as I understand. That's an amazing actor. I'm wondering, how is he going to do as Link? It's either him or Ryan Reynolds. I don't know who else I would trust.
Can you imagine Ryan Reynolds? Oh, man. That's funny. But yeah, I don't know. Dude, it's cool. I don't know if I'd rather... I think if we're going to go animated, then you got to go for a movie. I think if you're going to do live action, maybe then you can incorporate that into a TV show and then bring a different feel to the whole experience, right? So Speaking of feels, Scott, things are going to feel a little bit different as we get into Starfield leaks. Is great news for combat. This is Joshua Duckworth over at Game
a
Ranks.
leak that I actually really appreciate.
Me too. I saw this. I was like, this is great. According to a recent rumor, Doom developer id Software has been assisting Bethesda game studios with Starfield's combat for a few months now. The combat was supposedly improved dramatically as a result, with it being better than the last time fans saw it. But the upcoming Starfield Direct will likely be the final determiner of that. Scott, dude, id Software coming to the table here to help out is a huge stepping stone for Bethesda to nail the combat properly, right? I think that was the biggest thing. Sometimes people are like, yeah, I like Bethesda's combat, and others are just, I don't feel it. So what are your thoughts on id stepping in?
Well, when it comes to Fallout combat and stuff, I think it works really well in the universe that it's in. But everything is a little slower. You're not moving at Call of Duty speeds, and, well, nor should you for that type of game. But
yeah,
I think this would do really well. Anything that id Software has touched has been something that I've been drawn to all the way back from Wolfenstein, I believe.
They have a long history and pedigree of shooters. So, like, they're working with one of the best, right? So, very helpful. Nice to see the studios working together. You get a lot of collaboration over on the PlayStation side, but when it comes to working over on Xbox, we really don't hear much about the studios working together. And for once, here they are with id Software now teaming up with Bethesda to kind of, granted they're all under that same umbrella, but it's nice to see them collaborate and work together. Why not bring in one of the best shooting studios around? You don't have access to Bungie anymore because they're now on PlayStation side, but here we go and get in with id. And man, like, Doom is a legendary franchise. So
putting id and Bethesda together and all of these under one banner, it took the fortune of a small nation to do it. But we are all better off for it, I think.
I think it makes me a little bit more excited too for Starfield, right? With hopes of, okay, combat is going to feel solid. It's going to feel great then to get in there and start shooting up some of these aliens and the other people we experience within the game and see if we can kind of pull out, hopefully, a staple of what could be leading forward into a franchise moving forward with Starfield, because right now, dude, they're really on the ropes whether or not they can keep fans enticed long enough to stick around.
I have hope. I have big hope for it.
Yeah, I do too, but we'll see with that. Dude, we get something interesting came up today. Let me do this. Because Disney Domination, more images of Smash Brothers Killer surfaced. It's claimed. This is
Grant Taylor. Heard those terms used in a very long time. It's a Halo killer. That's usually what those terms should be.
Yeah, usually. It's interesting to think that something's gonna take the place of Smash Brothers. It's been around for so long. Dude, nobody's been able to take that spotlight away. But in March, imagery surfaced revealing shots of what was allegedly Disney Domination, a game that's being described as a Super Smash Bros. Killer. In this original leak, we saw shots of Disney characters from almost every sub-franchise, including the likes of Thanos, Mickey Mouse, Peter Griffin, Spider-Man, and Woody. Dude, this is going to be a mash of everything in here if this goes well. High hopes, Scott. What are your thoughts on this?
I think Smash Brothers needs some competitive. I really think there needs to be a competitor in the space, and there just hasn't been in a very long time. Multiverses came and crashed and failed, unfortunately. Well, I believe that has more to do with studio direction and roadmap and other issues that plague service games.
Sure.
Hopefully this is something different. If we get a big enough cast of characters, then, well, we don't need to be drip-fed, and maybe it'll stand on its own a little longer.
I think Multiverses had an opportunity. And now, so this current state of Multiverses right now is that they put it out in early access, early launch, and it came across everywhere. And then the studio's like, okay, we got your feedback. We're going to take some time off now and go back to the game. So they haven't really officially launched the game yet. So we're in a weird state of this flux of going, where does this game lie right now then? Obviously, right now, we don't have anything. I don't even know if you can still play the game. You might be able to. I haven't heard of anybody who is. When it first launched, dude, 20 million people were playing this game.
Oh, yeah. Everybody on my friends list was on it at one point.
Yeah. So this is great. But then it died off in a hurry. Like, it went from 20 million to like 1,000 people. It's like, that's not a good sign. And then what's next then? How did they make a a resurgence when they come back. Though another one I thought of too that was trying to compete is one that can rest in peace is PlayStation All-Stars.
PlayStation All-Stars, I knew it, yeah.
Right? And I was a huge fan of PlayStation All-Stars, but nobody's been able to take the reins of Smash Brothers because it's been around for so long. It's got a long list of characters, and now in the latest we have Smash Brothers Ultimate, which is just got
just
everybody. So when you're fresh in the works of a new brawler like Smash Brothers that you're classifying or calling the Smash Brothers killer, dude, you better come out swinging and have some major players to go with.
That's a really bold claim to say, a Smash Bros. Killer, and it's almost to the detriment of whatever you put out. I don't know if whatever you put out is going to measure up quite like that. It's very hopeful thinking on the word of the developer. I'm wondering what's going to be the unique thing in this game that kind of sets it apart. Is it really just the Disney universe colliding, or is it bigger than that? PlayStation All-Stars, or Sony Smash Bros, as I called it, had a different mechanic in it where you were building up to deliver a kill shot as opposed to being weakened to the point of kill shot. So I'm wondering if this one does something different.
It was cool. I like Smash Bros because you were talking about this kill shot. It had 3 different levels, right? One, you build up and then you could build up quickly, but it took you a little bit longer to get to that third one where you go into this big ultimate and then you're able to take out everybody on the screen. Or it was because you had to go with the first person to get 3, I'm going to call it kills, basically, is who wins, right? But if you build up the first one and then take out another target, like when it got into the pro level strat was actually to just go to level 1, take out a target, go to level 1, take out a target, go to level, where us normies would come in there and just, we want to see the big splash, right? And we build up to that third level and then just unleash the flurry of it all. And it was a ton of fun. I thought it was Superbot who made the game at the time, and they had an opportunity here. Will we see PlayStation All-Stars 2? I don't know, but I'm excited to see where they can take Disney Domination and then bring us in, because of Disney Domination and the amount of characters they have to pull from. Dude, if they're already talking about a mix of Thanos, Mickey Mouse, Peter Griffin, Spider-Man, and Woody. Like, that's crazy. You're pulling in everybody.
I'm trying to think of the ultimate Smash ability that Woody would have. Andy's home. Everybody drops. Game over.
It will boost a unique art style that looks like something out of Unreal Engine 5. And it's supposed to be edgy. This is the other thing that I want to see stepped up. I do not, Scott, want to get that Fortnite feeling of an art direction for this. That's where Multiverses is at, right? That's where they're at with their art style. PlayStation All-Stars took a bit of a cartoony feel as well. Let's give us something that's more in the realm of Mortal Kombat. Give us something that is that little bit more detailed, a little bit more gritty. Give me that edge. And dude, we could be in a whole different world.
How do you display a Mickey Mouse or other characters in certain other styles? That could be really interesting to see, but really difficult as well.
Yeah, they do walk this fine line of Disney characters, and how much do you change and iterate, because Disney is usually rather inviting. Obviously, they don't have that darker edge, but if we get this darker sense, not only are they competing with then the Smash Brothers world, but they also have the ability to work up against the likes of Mortal Kombat, the likes of Street Fighter, and pull away some of those players that have been over there for so long and give them something new and fresh to play. I think that's the exciting part for me. Get out of that Smash feel and bring us something a little bit more darker and a little bit more gritty, and give me the Disney list of characters, dude. Like the opportunity. Granted, right? Think about it. Marvel's Avengers had a huge list of opportunity here too, and they completely fell flat on their face. So that's another concern, right? We have yet to see a Smash Brothers competitor actually stick around and do it right. Brawlhalla kind of comes to mind a little bit.
Oh, that was a fun one, yeah.
Right? They do have their own community over there, but when it comes to the top, you're still Smash Brothers, and there's nothing else like it.
There's one thought that I have still. Do you have a Disney character that you would be, certainly, day one?
Day one. Oh, boy. Jack Sparrow comes to mind.
Okay, that destroys any idea I had. That's the best one.
Dude, That'd be cool. That'd be a cool character.
I was gonna say Milo from Atlantis. You remember that movie?
I do. I liked Atlantis.
I loved that movie.
Just think about all the good guys and all the villains, and then they just go, oh, there's such an opportunity here, Scott. I hope they don't screw it up. We'll see what happens, but we'll keep you posted on what comes around with more than that. Dude, we do have a couple games actually out today. What are they?
We have Last Labyrinth, and that is on PlayStation 4, 5, PlayStation VR 2, the Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and Series consoles,
It's like
and
on
PC.
everything.
Just about everything, except for the ones we still mourn.
Stadia.
And Trial, Trial of Ash is also out on PC today.
Yo,
Rest
you
in
see
peace,
this
Stadia.
one? Yeah, absolutely. Rest in peace, dude. I still miss the Stadia. I can't help it. I thought the Stadia was cool. My controller is always out because my kid plays with it now because it's just a brick. But yeah, that will get your hands off my
not
Xbox.
much longer now.
PlayStation
We'll have
controllers.
to give him a real controller.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'd be taking over. But yeah, dude, I don't know. It was a ton of fun. But what else did you play this weekend?
I'm gonna have to come back to Hogwarts. That's the one.
Ah.
I'm spending a huge amount of time on Dismantle, a game we have for review.
Yep.
And
yep.
I'm discovering that game is hundreds of hours long.
Yes, there's lots to unpack on that one. Make sure you check that one out and check out a review over on YouTube. But dude, I've been playing a little bit of Zelda. I had a busy weekend, so I didn't game all that much. And then of course we played Siege. Siege is just never
Oh, we
ending
had
game.
some good games and some bad games, like usual.
Yeah, that's an always thing too. But everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news each and every day. If you can join us live over on YouTube, make sure you do that. Hit that like button, that share button, and the subscribe button. And of course, for everything else, hit us up later inside thegame.ca and those TV streaming networks around the globe. Until tomorrow, everybody, I'm Drew. That's Scott. We'll see you inside the game.